All right, so today's question comes from Sheila, and she asks this question.
If a friend asks you to clean their house and they recommend you to someone else and you clean in two houses every other weekend, do you need your license? But you don't want to start a business.
All right, that is a great question. And the answer is, if you are helping out a friend, should you have a license? I don't know, and it's going to depend on the jurisdiction where you live and also the state that you live in. I'm going to put links in the show notes so that you can double check the area that you live in. There are lots of jurisdictions and states, and everyone has its own rules and regulations. So you may need a license and you may not. If you were going to start a business, you may need a license in order to open a bank account, for example. So there may be things that you don't need if you're not going to start a business. That said, if someone recommends you to a friend to go clean their house and you are accepting money for it, in spite of the fact that you don't want to start a house cleaning business, you actually, in fact, did. Okay, so it is a business transaction if you accept money for the job. If you are helping a friend out, I want you to be 100% crystal clear that you are giving your time and efforts, okay? You're not accepting money. You are just helping out. You are lending an extra hand. The minute that you accept money for the job, and as soon as you put it on a calendar and it becomes a biweekly client and all of those things, you are considered a contractor. And the IRS wants their share of that earned income. Okay, so whether you like it or not, whether you want to call it a business or not, you are a contractor being contracted for a job. That said, you are now also responsible for whatever is in your care, custody, and control, which means whatever you're doing on that job in that person's house during that time that they are paying you, you are responsible for. So you are expected to know chemical safety, for example. You're expected to know what you are allowed to put on what different types of surfaces. You're supposed to be able to recognize the different types of surfaces in the home and the different appliances. If you use the wrong cleaning chemicals and it damages that property, because you are a contractor in the home, you are expected to replace it. And so even if you're not going to start a business, if you are accepting money for a job, I would recommend that you do, in fact, go ahead and get insurance. Because if you don't, and you are liable, and then they come to you and they say, hey, you damaged my, stainless steel refrigerator or what have you, you might be expected to replace that. And because you were the person in the home that was responsible for the job, you are responsible for that. Okay. So if you are just helping a friend out, you can say, hey, listen, I just want you to know I'm helping you out. I'm donating my time to you. I'm not going to be responsible for anything that happens here. Are we clear on that? And get them to agree that you're not responsible for that. But the minute that you accept cash for a job, or you accept Bitcoin or barter dollars, or however it is you're being paid, you are a contractor on a job and you are expected, number one, to know your stuff, to have personal protective equipment, and to replace whatever it is that you damaged if something malfunctions. And you're expected to pay taxes on it. So I do recommend insurance, although you may not need a license. So if you're thinking about doing this on the side and you're thinking about doing it part-time, I recommend that you do in fact start a business, that you register the business with the state so that they know your business, so the IRS knows your business, so that there are no audits that are triggered as a result of your behavior acting like a business, but you're really not a business. It gets a little bit gray in that area. I love the question because it shows me that you're aware and that you're paying attention to the transactions that you're doing. So great job. I hope that if you're helping a friend out, you're just helping. And I hope that if you're helping a friend out in exchange for money, that even if it's part-time, you treat it as a business. All right, that's it. If you have questions, down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a blue button. You can click on that at askahousecleaner.com and leave your questions for us. And until then, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.